Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Defeat and the lovely majestic sound of my voice with the new mic. Today we've taken our first run in the Newbalance 1080 version 11. So looking back at the old faithful in the 1080 version 10, this did come in number 1 as the best running shoe going into 2020 last year. I did put quite a few Ks in this. I absolutely loved this. Was the first New Balance shoe I actually put in my rotation a lot. Quite a few updates from the V9, but the V11 hasn't changed a whole lot. So looking at the V11, still running with that fresh foam in the midsole, hasn't changed that at all. Same outsole, so what's actually underneath the foot's pretty similar. I did find this a bit softer initially though. It took me about probably 80 Ks to warm up into the V10. I felt the fresh foam was a bit firm to get started, but after that 50 to 80 K mark, it definitely softened up quite a bit. But this definitely felt softer initially, so I'm not sure if they've actually changed the compound of EVA that they are using for the fresh foam. It's still the same mold, but it does feel softer straight out of the box. Didn't feel like I needed to run it in for a certain amount of Ks before it kind of livened up. Not sure how the durability will go in the midsole. Found the outsole and the old ones very sticky in the wet, and they don't really show you that much kind of deterioration. A ton of rubber underneath the foot, so it is sticky. One thing I thought they might have changed in the V11 was just placing that medial side rubber onto that lateral side, so it ends up wearing a bit better instead of looking a bit deteriorated after about 200 Ks. But very solid shoe, still runs with that 8mm drop. It's a 30 to 22 stack height, so it does feel like it's a slight bit lower of a drop. I found this probably sits more so feels around like a 4 or a 6mm drop compared to that 8mm. But if you are a 4-foot striker or do have a lot of pressure on your forefoot, this is very, very pleasurable to run in, and it's super lightweight, very balanced shoe, and the upper on it feels, yeah, super stretchy on the toes, so there's no irritation around your toes. I haven't ever got a blister in this. Do run with features socks, so it's probably a side benefit from that as well, but super breathable, very elastic, so if your feet do swell a bit while you're running and you want something that isn't too intrusive on the toes, the 1080 version 11 works a treat. One thing I do find with this, having fitted up into a few people, if you do have quite a high instep, especially on the forward side of your midfoot, it can feel a bit tight. They have quite a bit of elastic there and have quite a few seams, so if you do have quite a high instep, you might find this does irritate you a bit there on the further side of your midfoot. But it does still accommodate for a neutral runner, even someone that does supinate. So it has a ton of cushioning underneath the whole foot, very lightweight. I know the old one came in at about 281 grams. I'm pretty sure this would be something similar. Did feel a slight bit lighter on the foot. The only thing they have really changed is just the upper on this. So I did feel that it does fit a bit rounder on the lateral side of the toes, so it gives you a slight bit more space there. Still very nicely locks down that midfoot, and they have started to do a functional logo with the New Balance, so incorporating that N logo into the lacing system, so that just does offer a slight bit more lockdown over the midfoot. Still does run with quite a gusseted tongue, so the tongue itself is not going to slip down to any side at all. If you are building up to a marathon, half marathon, or even 10Ks and just want a lot of fatigue or stress taken out of the joints, the 1080 version 11 does work brilliantly. If you haven't run in New Balance as a brand as a whole, I would suggest picking this up. And you could easily run in something like the Beacon version 3 as that kind of faster shoe. They couple hand in hand nicely. I think the Beacon 3 uses a 6mm drop and still has that fresh foam running the whole way through it. So yeah, very good shoe. I can easily see myself picking this up on some Arvo runs leading into a few more events this year, since Australia's got a lot more events open when it comes to good old COVID. But yeah, no irritation on the feet. The only thing I found wrong about the version 10 was the durability of the midsole. I'd like to see how well this holds up after about 400 Ks. I just felt the Fresh Foam X in the version 10 did deteriorate, got quite a bit stiff, so kind of felt like it did when I initially got the shoe. After about 350 Ks, 400 K mark, it just felt a bit kind of, yeah, dead. This did feel softer initially. I'm not sure if it will keep up its lifespan of the softness over about 800 Ks, which you should get out of this shoe, especially when it comes in at like $260 Australia. You do want a decent cushioning system to expand over the life of the shoe. Not a whole lot has changed from the V10. Midsole, outsole still the same. Yeah, durability on the outsole holds up very well. Just as I touched on before, just need that kind of lateral rubber on that midfoot, especially for anyone that does supinate or just basically lands on their midfoot. Just wears a hell of a lot better if there ends up being some rubber there in the V12. Not a whole lot's changed. This was a great package as far as a max cushion daily trainer goes. Still comes in very lightweight, about 280 grams. And the upper hasn't changed much. Slightly bit more elastic in the forefoot. I did feel it's a bit rounder on that lateral side, as I said before. Slightly bit lighter of a heel counter, but aesthetically the shoe hasn't really changed much. Yeah, it's pretty much the same shoe. So if you were happy with the V10, you're going to be quite happy with the V11. If you end up seeing these guys on sale, I'd probably just say pick up another one on sale, since it's going to feel quite the same. But yeah, we'll have a bit more of an in-depth review when I've done quite a few more Ks in this, see how the cushioning is holding up, if it does change in the 100 Ks that I will run in it after that review. But yeah, very good package, can't really fault it at all. Absolutely love the hypo knit that New Balance does do. It's elastic, it's how a knit should be. No irritation on the feet and breathes very, very well. So yeah, all in all, very good shoe. Can't really fault too much about it. Just kind of a few minor imperfections about the outsole, and we'll just see how that midsole holds up in the later stages of the shoe. So if you want to keep updated with what we're doing here at Beyond the Feet, I'd suggest hitting that subscribe button, that red button, and just click on that one. Give us one of those ones, and we'll see you later.